Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm John.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
That's not even Australian.
I don't know what that is.
That's Cockney. That's not Australian.
I'm offended.
I'm sorry. That was terrible.
I am personally offended.
Can we go back? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, sorry about that. This is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, and I'm a jackass, but we're excited you're here. And Kevin, how are you doing?
Man, I'm feeling fucking great.
I'm feeling
How are you
good.
doing? The beer is giving me life.
I've got a tasty buzz right now.
What are you sipping?
I'm having some Southern Bells, which is a Belgian-style ale by Arches Brewing or Brewery in Hapeville, Georgia.
It's down by the airport. I'm if nothing else. Well, it's a delicious beer.
It is. It's awesome.
And also the name is hella clever.
Yeah.
Southern Belle.
It's great.
Because Belgian.
If someone held a gun to my head, God forbid they ever do, and said, name your favorite style of beer,
ooh,
I would say Belgian. More specifically, I'd say Belgian triple, probably.
Okay.
But anything like Belgian beer is just like, that's my jam. So like this is right up my alley.
Up your alley.
Yeah, it's tasty. Thank you for having it in your refrigerator.
I aim to please.
What do you got?
I'm sipping on another Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
That's the original Mexican-American lager.
There's never been one before it. TM.
I mean, I will say it's getting the job done, my friend. It's delicious.
It is awesome. Here at the onset of episode 4, we are feeling good.
Yeah, that's right. We're back to talk a little bit more about Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
Welcome back to any of you who've been with us throughout this series so far. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. We hope you enjoy it. We also encourage you to go back and get caught up.
If you're here for the first time, you really do yourself a favor and go back and listen to the previous episodes before this one.
Pour yourself a couple of beers. Drink them both at the same time. We should also mention our new relationship.
That's right. We have joined.
We're not talking about Tinder.
We are part of the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network. We were approached. We were invited to join. I was excited to do so.
Yeah, man.
It's basically I guess a group of dudes spread out over the U.S. and Canada.
That's a country.
Who love the same shit that we love. I mean, I feel like guys who grew up in the era that we grew up, 80s kids, 90s kids, we all watched these same things.
We got left at home by ourselves a lot to watch TBS.
Somebody's got to kill the babysitter.
That's exactly what I was thinking, man.
It's,
the cable guy.
TNT, AMC, USA, TBS, WGN.
Yep.
These movies were on heavy fucking rotation. If you know that there's a movie out there called Kickboxer 2,
then this is your podcast.
This is the shit for you. I mean,
and the network is the network for you, the podcast network.
Absolutely. So check that out. If you're listening to us there, find our back catalog on our own channel, 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger. If you're listening to us on 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, check out the Last of the Action Heroes podcast network on any sort of podcast platform and subscribe there. You'll get our shit along with all the other guys.
Yeah, man. They've got podcasts about Stallone, Seagal, Dolph Lundgren. Van
There
Damme.
might be a Van Damme one over there. If not, I want to be a part of that.
I was about to say, if not, then go back in our back catalog and check those out.
Yeah, dude. But it's awesome to be a part of it. It's awesome to be sitting here sipping on a beer and talking about this movie with you.
Absolutely.
We're
Thanks
talking about The Road Warrior.
1981, which still
That predates your birth, your existence, right?
That's true.
I was born that same year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the release date was on this particular flick. I do know that the #1 movie in box offices at the day of my birth was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which I am proud of. I feel like it says something good about me that movie was #1. Honestly, in a previous life, I was married to someone who was 2 weeks younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
And on the date she was born, the #1 movie in the nation was called A Continental Divide. And it was some shitty ass like John Belushi picture, I think.
I think I've seen it. Yeah.
And I just feel like, boy, what a movie that no one's ever heard of versus Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
I feel like that gives me cool points by association.
I think you came out on the right side of history, my friend.
I am living my best life. As soon as you're gone, I'm going to put on Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I thought you were going to say that you're just going to
pour another beer
and skate in your socks.
Yes.
Listening to some Bob Seger. You better. And Turk better be doing it with you.
Hell. Hey, Turk.
So yeah, we're talking about Road Warrior. This movie fucks pretty hard.
Extremely hard.
It has for nearly 40 years.
Yes, this is his 40th anniversary.
Yeah, it has for 40 years. And
it's my 40th anniversary. Oh, that's scary.
Oh, don't let it be scary. Embrace that shit. We got to plan
40 is the new 16.
That's what I've heard.
Why not?
We got to do something big for both of our 40th. But in the meantime, we got to talk about The Road Warrior.
That's true.
So
this podcast intrudes.
So this movie, so far, I'll get you caught up. Post-apocalyptic future. Max Rakatansky has been moseying around the wasteland for 5 years, living by his wits alone with the help of his dog.
Living one tank of gasoline at a time.
That's right. Stumbles upon, with the help of the Gyro Captain, a refinery community that has been assailed by the marauders led by the mighty Humongous, or just the Humongous.
The Lord Humongous.
Whose lieutenant is named Wes, and Wes is utterly obsessed with Mad Max.
He's unhinged.
For some reason. Max agrees to help the community by going out and finding a rig that's big enough and powerful enough to haul out a tanker full of gas so that all of their wildest dreams can come true and they can travel 2,000 miles east across the country to the coast and the beach.
But it's also sort of self-serving.
Yeah, he wants gas so he can get out.
He's like, if I do this for you, you'll load me up with all the gas I can carry because I'm not really part of you.
So they agree to it. He manages to get the rig into the compound, though not completely unscathed. The rig, I mean. And just in the nick of time, they manage to close the gate. Wes delivers a threat to Max as he jumps across the wall to join the marauders.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Right, and the marauders, as they are wont to do at the end of each chapter, leave. They go back to camp. So that sort of picks us up for episode 4.
Absolutely. So we pick up, it's like a party inside the walls.
Yeah.
They've run off the marauders. They've gained a couple of new vehicles as well that they've picked off from the marauders who did get inside the gates. So there's got the curmudgeon. He's like an elder statesman in the community, though not the leader.
Yeah, we kind of reckon that he is some relic of a bygone era. He
wears an army helmet and an army, a military type jacket.
He looks like fucking Australian Patton or something.
Yes, totally. But a blowhard.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like he's not an actual hard ass.
Yeah, no. He we talked about how he found that uniform in someone dead person's house and put it on.
He seems very happy to see the Gyro Captain.
Everyone seems,
do they know him?
Everyone seems very impressed by the Gyro Captain.
I wonder if they've seen him flying around before and just wondered, the curmudgeon's you did a great job. That's my man. Do you know this man?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that they're just for him to have survived that long with that flying machine probably takes some measure of ingenuity. Plus, he was helping Max out, which I guess they may have seen from their vantage point. I don't know.
The Gyro Captain is being very
oh, well,
humble.
No,
he's don't go overboard. He wants to ingratiate himself, I think, with the community.
Agreed.
So that he can get that gas connection, basically. Plus, he's sizing up the ladies already.
Yeah.
Like, it's the moment he landed. Feral Kid approaches the gyrocopter. He's, like, fascinated by this machine. Gyro Captain tells him don't touch it.
That's a precision instrument.
He tries to shoo the Feral Kid away, but the Feral Kid sort of, like, snarls and growls.
I was like, that's awesome.
It's so good.
Tremendous.
He sounds like a dirt bike when he's doing his little snarls. But Gyro Captain, he seems fascinated by the young woman with the top ponytail.
Yeah. She's a cutie.
I can't blame him. She was cute as hell. Yeah. Curmudgeon asks him if the gyrocopter can carry 2 people. He says possibly, like leering. For sure.
Totally.
Leering at the girl who's credited in the credits as Captain's girl.
Yeah, like she's like, okay, like okay.
She seems to give a forced sort of a smile at him, although I think we see later that she's not into him.
Yeah, no, agreed.
What's the Curmudgeon? Is he her dad? I almost now feel like he's a
caretaker.
Yeah, I read him. I mean, he could have been that girl's dad.
I think more like a grandfather or older uncle or something.
He seems 60s-ish, and she's probably 20.
Early 20s, yeah.
Yeah, he could be 2 generations removed. So a wounded Pappagallo, who's the leader of the refinery clan, he starts ordering people to be prepared to leave tonight. You know what to do, he says, and everyone sort of goes.
Just get on with it.
There's a bit of a twist ending here that I'm going to try not to give away on the film, but based on that line, it does seem like Pappagallo's plan has sort of always been in place.
Yeah.
Like of what they're going to do to get out of here. Like, because everyone seems to know.
Yep. I completely agree with you that this was something that they had planned for, like, for a while. The contingency had been laid. Yeah.
Yeah. So he asks, what's the status of the rig?
This is one of my favorite bits in the whole movie.
Oh, dude, it's incredible. The mechanic, he's relaying the laundry list of damages back. He's got a radiator's cracked at the core. It's got
a cracked timing case cover. It's broken a couple of teeth off the timing gears.
That's the
radiator's damaged at the core. His sidekick is like he's money.
His sidekick is relaying the information back to Pappagallo, who's like up on the walls.
Yeah.
You got, he's like, oh, yeah, okay, but what does all that mean? And then his lieutenant, Zeta, relays back, yeah, but what does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
24 hours. He's like, okay, you've got 12. And he's like, okay. And his like sidekick's like, okay.
It's see, I feel like that's how working it like in an agency was. It's like project managers would come for an estimate on like how much time it would take to finish how much time do you think it'll take you to finish this? And I'd be like, honestly, I need 2 like days of work.
What is it? Okay, you got 1 day.
And they're like, okay, well, you have 3 hours. And I'm like, okay, sweet.
It's going to take as much time as I have.
Yeah. That was always like, how much time do I have to do it?
This whole bit, though, hilarious, amazing. Apparently, it was like something that the actors all just sort of improvised on the set.
It's so good.
I mean, I think the dialogue was set, but like the fact that they'd relay it and it'd be funny was like a thing that the actors came up with.
The guy that is the mechanic sidekick is like one of the most lovable characters in the whole movie.
Was he wearing Bennett's? Like from Commandos, his macrame vest.
I wonder if that was a thing in Australia. Like
that was high fashion in Australia in the early 80s. Was a macrame
I'm surprised
vest.
It hasn't been. Maybe it has, and I just missed it. But if it
He's
comes
wearing a
back,
doily,
a sleeveless macrame vest sweater thing, I want that.
I'm into it, dude. So, Warrior Woman, she comes over. She takes over the flamethrower that Max had been operating. She apologizes for misjudging Max. One thing I like about these Mad Max movies in general is they never push a romantic angle.
Mm-hmm.
Like this movie, Fury Road, like he's never trying to bang these girls.
No.
I don't know what that means. I get the impression almost that Max is like still being faithful to his wife and his family.
Yeah, I think it's PTSD for Max, and then also like, I mean, yeah, there's a survival element that comes in. One would guess in that world, like to perpetuate the species, but I would imagine that level of stress probably fucks your libido like hard.
True.
And you're just like not.
It's also like you don't form attachments.
Yeah, probably scared to form attachments for real.
But it struck me as kind of almost like Eastwood in Unforgiven.
Yeah,
where he's like, I'm still faithful to my wife, like
right.
Even though she's gone. Yeah,
Doing the right thing by her.
So Max comes down off the wall. He gets a hero's welcome as well.
I love Feral Kid like falling in step beside him and like changing up his step to walk like right in step.
I also love that Dog was like glued to his side, like
Dog.
He was in contact with him almost. What a great fucking animal.
Yep.
Everyone seems to think like, with you on our team, we got a chance.
Right.
About Max. A woman comes and gives him, like, presents him with her treasure, which is some shotgun shells.
Mm-hmm.
There was also like another cute woman in the compound making eyes at Max. Just a smaller
I remember that.
woman.
Yeah.
Max is like, look, guys, like I'm done doing what I promised to do.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, but I'm leaving.
It's a fucking full Han Solo move.
Yeah.
That one. He's like, you got your money? I guess that's all you came here for, that sort of thing.
I wonder if there's anything he cares about or anyone.
I care.
Luke sucks.
So later on at sunset, you got Humongus's marauders. They appear to be torturing their captives.
Yeah, that silhouetted shot against the horizon of them doing whatever it is they're doing.
Well, they were lighting one
fire.
dude on fire, it seemed like. I mean, they had these other dudes like sort of tied up there on these like X's as like a sort of a crucifixion.
Yeah, that's
almost.
exactly what I thought too. It's sinister, but it's a very cool shot.
Yeah, it looked fucking amazing, didn't it? Max is just like wrenching on his car and having dinner with Dog, eating that dog food. He seems like unperturbed or unconcerned about anything else.
This is another moment that made me. You remember the sequence this would be years later in Die Hard, like the sudden push-ins. Like there's one scene where there's like several push-ins in a row, and it's where Hans finds out that Holly is his wife. So it's like
kinetic sort of camera work.
Max having dinner with Dog, and I love that like Dog's got his bowl up on the hood of the car.
He's like eating out of a hubcap, I think.
It's so awesome. But like there's that push in, then the captain's girl push in, and then a push in on Humongous himself, who starts speaking in the PA is so cool.
He's saying, "You have defied me, you'll know the vengeance of Lord Humongous. I promise you no one gets out of here alive." So it's fucking ominous shit.
Okay.
But yeah, as I said, like Max doesn't necessarily seem all that concerned. He's probably heard all of this before.
It's Tuesday for Mad Max. It's like, okay.
He's like probably dealt with 1,000 psychos.
Yeah.
Like in his time. He's just eating his dog food.
His dinky die.
That dog is fucking incredible, man. I want that dog. Did you read in your research, like the story about the dog? And how they found the dog and everything like this? So the story is that this dog was basically rescued by the filmmakers they just got it from a pound like the day before it was going to be put down.
Shit.
They said they just like they wanted the most Australian looking dog they could find.
That's him.
They said. So they went into the pound. They found this one dog. He's an Australian cattle dog. Is the breed, also known as a blue heeler, I think. Basically, they said he seemed smarter than the other dogs. He brought in his mouth, he brought a rock to them and sort of placed a rock at their foot. Like, let's play a game with the rock. And it seemed like basically, I think the animal wrangler was like one of the stunt coordinator's girlfriends or wives or something like this. And she's like, this dog is smart. Like, I feel like we could train him. And then they got him and they brought him to the set.
That's unreal.
And after the movie was done, one of the crew people adopted him and took him home. And this was like his one and only movie appearance. But he's like a fucking star.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's a feel-good story.
I love it, dude. So now from this tender dog moment, we cut to montage. It's like a freak downpour, it seems like. Because we're in the desert. Humongous' marauders like just fucking raging, dude. It's like fucking Burning Man or something out there.
It's like Sturgis or some shit.
Yeah, dude. It's buck wild. Humongous is like, we don't hear what he's saying, but he seems to be giving a very impassioned speech. He's like arms flailing around.
Yeah, like a dramatic reading or something.
Well, what they said was that he was reciting like some sort of a Swedish fairy tale. Like they just said, just talk. We're not, it doesn't matter what you're saying because we're going to whatever. But he was like just about a couple of kids who like get captured by a witch and eaten or some shit. I don't know what. It was fucking wild.
There are guys like spinning donuts in the mud, like fireballs. It's once upon a time in Madison, Wisconsin, you could walk by the library mall like on a weekday night, and there was like this yard outside and this walkway, and there would be we called it the circus. the Library Mall circus, but there'd be people like LARPers out there casting spells and fighting, and then there'd be people like on slack lines like walking and people twirling fire. This is just like on a regular like weeknight, and that's what this scene reminded me of.
I love all of it. There's more torture going on.
Yeah, and then
Bear
also
Claw
the torture.
Mohawk character is just fucking freaking out. He's just like waving his. It seems like his bloody claw. Like
He's probably killed someone.
Yeah. I wonder if that rain was real, because apparently while they were filming, there was like it had gone like apparently years in this area without rain, and then it rained while they were filming, and it's just like you wonder if. It's like, holy shit, it's raining. Like, let's just turn the cameras on.
It's like when they were filming like Helm's Deep in Two Towers, and they're like, shoot, we got to film, roll. And
was that like real rain in some of the shit?
Yeah, fucking cold, and it was like really raining out there.
That's badass. Yeah, my notes here say it was the first rain they had there in 4 years.
That's insane.
That's like some Death Valley shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. So inside the refinery, the good guys are getting all their vehicles ready.
The mood is much different inside the refinery.
I dig that I loved the car they scavenged off the Marauders,
Yeah.
the one that was sort of like a old style race car. Like it was just long and skinny with the outer wheels like just exposed.
Yep.
The one that Pappagallo winds up driving later.
And that's one of the ones that we were like when we were first talking about the movie. It's like things are bespoke. They're just like, we're going to put whatever odds and ends we can find to build a car.
We have an engine and a chassis, and we're just going to put it all together.
There's
somehow.
lots of welding, like where there's fire twirling and murder outside. There's lots of welding happening inside.
The curmudgeon is rounding up the livestock.
Everyone's got to have a job.
The Gyro Captain, he's trying to like sneak out of there with the girl.
Dick.
It's weird, right? She was ready to run off with him quick.
Seems like she was. Yeah, he talked her into it, and you know, despair sets in. She was probably like those instincts, like to survive.
You can't exactly sneak off in that thing.
No,
like I feel like you need a runway. Like you got to get moving and up to speed. Like it doesn't just disappear into the night quietly.
Agreed.
At any rate. She hesitates. She like can't abandon her people.
Right. This is my family. She
which
says.
Is good for her for taking charge of her own life. I felt like it seems really short-sighted for the Gyro Captain to be like, let me steal a girl and a couple of cans of gasoline and like be on my way, like and ditch these people.
Right.
Like this is a community, you know. Like if that's what you're into at all, like he should pitch his tent.
Yeah, but it was very. Sort of and unexpectedly stand up for him to be like, all right, I'll stay too.
Yeah, she says she's staying, right? And it seems like Gyro Captain decides, okay, well, I'm sticking with her.
Yeah.
Which is, I give him credit for that for sure.
Totally.
I love it. I didn't notice until recent viewings that she's always just got this little puppy.
Yeah.
This is great. It's just amazing to me. Dude, did you think that Bruce Spence, Gyro Captain, had this full like Steven Merchant thing going on?
Big time.
Like just
Definitely.
lanky, sort of goofy, bug eyes and a funny face.
If they did it again with the Gyro Captain, Steven Merchant would be the guy to
would
play
be the
him.
dude.
Yeah.
I love that. So
love Steven Merchant. Thanks for listening, Steven Merchant.
Yeah, he's out there 100%.
Yeah.
To say hi to Simon Pegg for us.
And Ricky Gervais.
Yes, Ricky Gervais
all the
as
boys,
well.
Nick Frost.
So now Max is loading up his car.
And Edgar. Sorry, we'd be remiss.
Edgar Wright, yeah.
We know you're a big fan.
We love you, buddy. Well, happy to have you on next week.
Yep.
Now Max is loading up his car. Curmudgeon and Pappagallo come into the garage. I think Curmudgeon is like, look, I told you he's leaving.
Right.
Pappagallo limps up to him. He starts telling him, like, look, we want you to drive the tanker. And I think Max tells him, look, I'm sorry. I did my part of the bargain.
Yep.
Like, we get this, we
can make a new contract.
Pappagallo tells him, like, we'll make you a new deal. And Max is like, I've got everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
Pappagallo says, look, you don't have a future. We can offer you that. They tell Max, basically, they're heading to Paradise, 2,000 miles away. What was it, Sunshine Coast?
Sunshine Coast, which is on the East Coast north of Brisbane.
I feel like Waterworld, the movie Waterworld essentially just ripped off this movie in general.
Yeah.
But especially this bit where they're like, we got to get to this mythical place that's out there.
Totally.
Where everything's going to be good if we can just get to this place.
People are always ambling towards the coast in post-apocalyptic worlds.
Hey.
You notice that? Like in The Road, they were headed to the coast.
Yeah.
And then...
Good point.
Yeah. Everyone's always headed to the coast.
So... Curmudgeon breaks out the postcards. It's like just babes in bikinis and sunny beaches.
Fresh water. Plenty of sunshine, nothing to do but breed.
Now, for me, that's a tempting offer.
Yeah.
But
sold.
For Max, he doesn't seem that into it. I don't know. Max is just like a lone wolf.
You ever looked at a map of Australia?
Yeah.
Just like a topographical map?
No.
Like what do you mean? But I'm just like, not just like a map of the
green?
country. Yeah, there's green on the coast.
On the coast.
Very like slivers
red.
of green, and then they're just like a blob of tan.
Yeah, it's just like, ooh. But I want to see all that shit.
I do too, man.
I'm
do
so
too.
into that
I'm with
shit.
you. I'm with you. We would need a guide or we need a plan.
A plan, at least.
Daunting.
Pappagallo, he presses Max on, what it is you're looking for out there. He goes like bad cop on him. I felt like he got harsh.
Yeah,
quick.
There's a lot of like pushing and getting in his face and grabbing him and stuff while he's
like,
delivering
happy out
this.
there, are you? One day blurring into the next. You're a scavenger, Max, a maggot.
Yeah, well, it's like, whoa.
You know that? You're living off the carcass of the old world.
This is not the way, Pappagallo.
Yeah, he's going hard, dude. I'm not sure what he thinks. Like, you think that's going to get him to stay? I don't know. Also, how does he know Max's name? On screen, he hasn't told anyone his name.
Maybe that's
off screen he could have, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that has to be the assumption.
Okay. So Max is like keeping his cool. Pappagallo starts pressing him about what pushed him over the edge. Kill one man too many, see too many people die, lose some family.
Yikes.
And Max sort of like turns away quickly.
Yeah.
Pappagallo senses that he's like hit a nerve. He's like, that's it, is it? Lost some family? He's like telling him that doesn't make you anything special.
Right.
Ooh, that's fucking brutal. That's a cold-blooded thing to say.
Yeah.
Max just turns around and decks him, lays him out.
He deserved it.
I love that awkward slow motion sort of fall that he has. It reminded me of like, you remember when Yoda knocked the fucking Emperor over? I think it was probably
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith when they're fighting in the Senate.
Yeah.
And he just sort of awkwardly falls over, like topples over a desk or one of the things. That just makes me laugh because it's real. I think that's how it is in real life, but it's like awkward for a film. We're just slowly, he like falls into an oil drum and oh boy.
Oh no.
So yeah, Pappagallo tells him we've all suffered loss, but we're carrying on with dignity while you've decided to go out in the wasteland and live amongst the garbage.
He just tells Max, you're nothing. Yeah. It's like, yikes. Okay.
Harsh, dude. Now, it could be that Pappagallo has a point. Like, I mean, as the Humongous said, like everyone's lost somebody in this world.
You're going to rise above it or wallow in it.
But the big question, like, is it that Max enjoys the life that he's living? Like, or does he just think like what your plan is a pipe dream? Like, what do you think's going on with Max that he doesn't want to be a part of it?
That was what I was wondering just now is like, what is Max doing? What's he been doing for 5 years?
Yeah. That's it. The question
is it just staying alive? And if it's just staying alive, then what's
there's
the
easier
point?
ways than driving nonstop and battling.
Because he's obviously not like
road.
Driving around to help people, and he doesn't seem really that interested in hurting even the bad guys. He doesn't want to seem to have much to do with anyone.
Trying to survive. I got thoughts on it. I want to explore it at more length.
Yeah.
More towards the end of the film as we see like how his storyline sort of reveals itself here, whatever. But he doesn't seem to. I don't know. He seems like maybe he doesn't want to be. If he thinks that what they're doing is a suicide mission,
then he doesn't.
Then maybe it's like I don't want to be responsible for more death, or I don't want to be a part of this. I don't really know.
I go along with that.
We got Pappagallo and Curmudgeon. They leave.
Yeah.
Max goes back to sort of loading up the vehicle. He puts the booby trap back on his fuel tank. Feral Kid sort of drops down out of the rafters and with his little baggage and hops into Max's car.
Got my overnight bag.
I love that shit, dude. Yeah, he starts playing with the music box.
Yeah, Max notices. I love that like he opens that red ass like suicide door on the car.
Yeah, dude, it's
kick-ass.
so good. Max basically tells the kid, scram. The kid's not going anywhere. He sort of snatches the little music box away from him and tosses it across the garage. Mm-hmm. Kid scrambles off to go pick it up.
Max chucks his stuff
Max,
after.
He takes this pretty harsh, to be honest. Feral Kid comes back and Max sort of runs him off. It's like every scene from fucking White Fang or whatever where you're like trying to get the dog to leave.
Yeah.
Just go. Yeah. I don't want you here anymore.
It was this moment that I really wondered, like looking back at the Feral Kid if he was like a marauder whelp who got abandoned and adopted somehow. Mm-hmm. because he looks more Marauder than Refiner. But I feel sad for him, and the music is super sad at this point too. Like Brian made it a good job of like capturing this moment in the score.
Moments like this like tug at the heartstrings, for sure. Because I don't know, that this ever comes off as much as George Miller might have wanted us to pick up on it. But I think that we're supposed to gather that Max himself has sort of gone feral over the years of like living on his own out in the wasteland.
Definitely.
And like that's why the feral kid's sort of drawn to him. It's like a kindred spirit thing.
I totally buy that.
Like I don't know where I read this or saw this, but in like Fury Road, same thing. Like that he's when they capture him, they're like, we captured a feral.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I think the idea is that Max hasn't maybe talked to anyone in years.
Right.
Before this. Like that he's been out on his own, lone wolf in it, whatever, and that he's just sort of but he doesn't come off as feral as this child. Maybe he doesn't look as
I think it's just because he doesn't look like him. Also, this kid can't talk or chooses not to talk.
He's speechless. So now later on we got Max, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
He's got his car, he's all loaded up. The top lieutenant Zeta is telling Pappagallo like we shouldn't let him go, or he's like at the very least we should keep his vehicle. It's like there's no honor with him.
Yeah.
I know. What are you going to do? Just put him out? I guess. I don't know, or give him a shittier car. But basically Pappagallo is like, he's fulfilled his contract. He's an honorable man. We're going to let him go.
Right.
He's playing with the little hourglass in that moment with the sand, watching the sand flow through. It's a little bit of foreshadowing.
Right.
Zeta is asking him, well, who's going to drive the rig now? And Pappagallo says he's going to do it.
I am.
Like, to the lieutenant's dismay, knowing the ending, I think we see, I guess, why Zeta is dismayed, and that Pappagallo is setting Max up for a fucking double cross.
Yeah.
Which is kind of shitty.
Yep.
But the people look forlorn as Max is going to leave. He moves the bus out of the way.
No joy in Mudville.
Gyro Captain comes up to him. He tells him he understands, like, you're stupid maybe, but you're not a coward.
I love that.
He's basically saying like, look, you shouldn't be splitting up a great team here. Like we could make a go of it with these people.
Right.
Basically.
I like how quickly Gyro Captain's changed his outlook.
Yeah.
Just in a couple. I wonder if he and
Pussy will do that.
Love will make you do fucked
She
up
put that
things.
good on him.
That's right.
It's a good performance by Mel Gibson, I think, though, because he's just like, see you around, maybe. Like, good luck. He's just like, it's understated.
Yeah.
He's got his gas, I feel like, and his mission is accomplished.
Right.
I feel like, honestly, he had his mind made up, like, the moment he was up there on the bluff.
Yeah.
Sizing everything up. He's like, I got to get in there and get some gas.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
And there's a lot to what you just said. It's like he knows a group that big with that kind of odds or those kind of odds they're not going to make it.
I mean, in theory, it's good to run in a pack, right? If you're a prey, not a predator. But Max, I think, is a guy who is probably stronger on his own,
right,
than with a group of people slowing him down or whatever it is. So he drives off into the darkness. It's kind of optimistic to think to me that he's just going to waltz through the marauders.
And that's what I was saying.
There.
The fact that he didn't at some point in time mod that car up to not make noise like that.
Yeah, it's the
insane.
fucking last of the V8s, man. It's loud.
Yeah, I like Feral Kid climbing up on the wall to watch him off, though. That's sad.
Oh, it was a great moment.
Yeah.
Now, out at the camp, day is dawning. I also wondered, is this the best time for Max to have been leaving, like, as it's getting light again? Should he not have gone out in the dead of night?
Yes.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it's like, when I leave, it's going to be dark, but I don't want to turn my headlights on, so let me leave right as it's starting to get light. Maybe he's thought this shit through. But Wes hears the roar of Max's massive engine and sort of snaps to attention.
We go!
He's got face paint on now. I'm not sure why. He's got like war paint almost.
That's why, baby. Time for battle.
I sense that he's been grieving. What did you make? Did you notice like the golden painted like animal skull that was on a post next to him?
Interesting, but I'm sure there was a shrine to Golden Youth.
I guess so. Earlier, Humongous had also had an animal skull like on a post next to him during the montage.
I noticed that.
I don't know what it means or if it's just cheap set design that kind of looks interesting.
I think it's supposed to look tribal and sinister.
Sure.
Yeah. But the golden bit, that's probably
It's painted gold,
that's
yeah, for
probably
Golden
in
Youth.
honor of Golden Youth.
So Max's car, he tears through their camp as Wes is like scrambling to get some of the other punks together to go out after him. It's like Benny Hill style, isn't it? That's just that sped up motion.
Yeah, and
I think because they couldn't drive that fast, so they were like, "We're going to run the speed at half.
Right.
We're going to run the film at half speed."
right. They're driving the car with the tortured hostages tied to the front.
Yeah. And then Humongous comes running out of his tent. "You disobey me, you puppy."
It's so stupid.
I gotta know what Humongous's deal is. I think he was like the manager of a PetSmart.
That's what, or whatever the Australian equivalent was in 1981.
I like your thing though. He was like, was he a dog breeder? No,
He was a small pet veterinarian.
He was a pet. He was a vet
for like gerbils and birds.
Oh my god. So now they're flying down the highway.
There's some amazing natural light in the shots of Max like trying to escape
Is
he
it dawn?
as he
Is it
switches
kinda-
on the blower. Like at that moment, the light it's again that like purplish dawn,
Okay.
golden. It's amazing.
I loved this shit, dude. Yeah, he's being chased after by the vehicles, one with a couple of hostages on the front. Wes is like riding out on the fucking hood of the car. I think that Vernon fucking Wells was fearless, man.
Yeah.
He was doing some of this shit
He was
for
like,
real.
he's like, I'm fine, I'll do it.
Toady was riding there up on the roof. Wes gives like the signal and the driver hits the nitrous tank and then like the car fucking rockets off.
I
beside.
feel the speed. Like again, like with the cranking up of the frame rate, it's like
So Wes has somehow a giant chrome exhaust pipe. I think he like ripped it off of the car they were driving.
either that or it was like nearby, but like why would he just have that?
I feel like that car had one on the other side, like maybe it had a pair of them, and he ripped one off. But he takes this huge exhaust pipe and he shatters Max's windshield.
Fucking intense.
Max crashes, and it is a spectacular crash.
I'm not sure Wes could have swung that thing that far over without jumping on Max's car.
That's a good ass point.
But we'll suspend that disbelief.
This movie is proof that when a movie is working and it's fucking really good, you just don't stop to think about the little things like that.
Mm-mm.
Versus when a movie's really not working and you notice all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so
it's a damn travesty about that car.
Dude, apparently they left that wreck, like they rolled it off the thing and they just left it there. Like that for years later, people would go out there and they'd stop and take pictures with the wreckage of the car.
Badass.
Until people were stealing like all the little bits they could cut off of the car and stuff like that. Now there's nothing left apparently. But that's amazing to me.
Wow, if that's not a metaphor for humanity, I don't know what is.
This is fucking accurate and depressing.
Yeah.
The car is completely totaled. You got like gas is leaking everywhere. A fucking battered Max.
Max is also totaled.
Yeah, he's dragging himself out of just that wrecked car.
Thank God that dog seems to be okay.
Unharmed, which is a miracle, isn't it? When I'm driving with my dog in the car, I'm always like thinking, like, if a crash happens, is my dog just fucking dead meat? Like, because he's right in the floorboard or he's up on the seat or whatever. Anyway.
That's sad.
The bad guys, they double back to come and like scavenge the gas off the car.
Right.
Was the impression I got. Wes tells him if Max is alive, if he's alive, I want him.
Right.
Toady and the other dude he had with him, they go down there. They find the car's empty. Toady is just like a natural born follower, man. He's like, the tanks are full, oh mighty Wes, and it's all yours. Imagine this society. I think you have to like find a role that you can survive in. And if you're not a dominant person, then you need to be a submissive person.
Yeah. Or bide your time until you can switch roles.
So the driver of the vehicle is like all covered head to toe leather. He finds Max sort of hiding behind a big rock.
Mm-hmm.
He raises his crossbow, and at that moment, Dog sort of jumps out to defend him. Dog assist number 6, and the last one, sadly, because the driver shoots Dog. You get that yelp that fucking pulls my heartstrings.
We don't like it. R.I.P. Dog.
We talked about this before. Like, hurting an animal is unforgivable.
It's an unforgivable sin.
It's like, hurting your human foe. We get that.
Yeah.
But hurting an animal is just like, there's no excuse.
Yeah, harming a child and then harming animals. Those are the things you don't do.
This one is like especially rough because the dog was just such an incredible companion to Max. Now he's going to reload his crossbow. In the meantime, Toady has triggered the booby trap on the fuel tanks.
I like Max, who's just futilely trying to raise his shotgun to defend himself.
It is
he's
trying to fight
falling out of
to
his
your
hand.
last fucking breath, man. Right as at this moment, everything sort of collides and the car just explodes. It kills Toady, kills the other bad guy that was down there.
Massive explosion.
Wes looks very disappointed.
Huge. I don't know what the effect was, but it looked like a body exploded in the explosion.
Yeah, I think there was
it just
meat
flying. It's crazy.
Vernon Wells, fucking super intense. He's just got an intense face.
Yeah, he's disappointed. He wanted a shot. I guess he assumes Max died in that fireball.
That's what I was thinking. More bad guys arrive, and Wes tells them it's over. Let's go. It's really? You don't want to spend 5 minutes to go down there and check?
I feel like Wes, of all people, would want to fuck the skull of Max.
Yes. At least get a closer look. Yeah, he'd want to take his head.
There's no way in hell he wouldn't have gone down there to check.
I don't buy it either. But it works well for this particular movie. It's convenient for Max.
It is indeed. Because he couldn't even hold up his arm to take a shot.
Absolutely. Back at the refinery compound, Gyro Captain sees smoke rising on the horizon. He's like,
"Fuck, you blew it.
You blew it." He goes to his gyrocopter. I guess he's going to go and check it out. We see Max sort of dragging himself through the desert.
It looks like he's fucked up his non-braced leg at this point, too. So he's going to need another leg brace.
It's a rough day for our boy Max.
Yeah.
He rolls over. He sees the gyrocopter hovering over him. Gyro Captain, he gathers him up. He flies him back to the refinery. This is a fucking amazing shot, isn't it? The aerial shot
of Mel Gibson hanging out.
Close up.
Yeah.
That shit was for real.
Yeah.
He was hanging out of a helicopter or whatever, and they shot that shit. It's amazing. You don't notice until you're watching on a big screen that you can see the details of they're flying over the Marauder camp and then they're flying over the refinery.
They're way up there.
It's a stand-up move also from Gyro Captain to go out there and get him and bring him back.
Yep.
Because Max is in rough shape.
Yeah, I like Cap trying to assure him relax, partner. Relax, partner.
Yeah, they did this weird sort of trippy double image effect, and they slowed the dialogue down.
Max had a head injury going on or something like that.
Oh, for sure. This dude's concussed as hell. Later on, Max wakes up. He's in the infirmary. Is it the same day? Is it days later?
He left early that morning. I think it's that
same day.
Well, I think it's probably that night. It would have to be that night.
So, yeah. Remember earlier when Pappagallo was saying we're going to leave tonight? That was 2 days ago.
Yeah. Well, maybe it is just later that afternoon. But
it could be
with that kind of head injury, though. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like you could be out for 5 hours. You could be out for 25 hours.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You never know.
We got haunted looking guys lying in there. Is he dead? I got the impression he was dead, but we didn't really see.
We don't really know.
We didn't really see his death. The last time we saw him was Wes headbutted him and tossed him off the wall.
I like that feral kid hanging upside down in the doorway, keeping a vigil over Max.
He's also gathered up all of Max's things and he's guarding them for him or whatever. Yeah, it's kind of great.
Hey, did feral kid take over the role of dog?
Sorta. He's not. He's sort of pet-like.
Yeah.
Now, Pappagallo is outside. He's sort of prepping everyone for the big escape.
Yeah.
He says he's telling him he's going to drive the tanker. He says we're going to crash or we're going to crash through, which is a paraphrase of a famous slogan that Australian Prime Minister had said or something.
Okay.
He's also just proudly wielding Max's double barrel gun, he's claimed it for himself.
Yeah.
He says, they're all going to swarm on the tanker, so everyone else, we're going to split up when you get outside. Head north to the rendezvous point. Yeah, 200 miles to the north. Everyone wait there. What do you say? There's a bridge.
We'll wait till sunset, and then we'll keep going with whoever makes it that far.
Yeah.
So hope to see you there.
So Max sort of comes hobbling out of the infirmary. He's using Feral Kid like a crutch. He's got his hand is on Feral Kid's head.
That's awesome.
And people are bickering over who's going to be riding in what vehicle. You got the mechanic who's he wants to be on the tanker.
Yeah, he wants to ride in the Vanguard, baby.
Well, he's saying look, I built this thing. I got it running again. I want to ride on it.
Right.
And Warrior Woman is telling him no. Truly,
she's got a valid point because he's valuable.
Yes.
Mechanic should have been on the bus.
That to me, like the mechanic, the guy who can keep the vehicles running is like as valuable a person in the community as you can have.
Yeah.
Like
he's like water or gas.
And I don't know that it's necessarily been spoken, but people who are on the tanker, that's like almost the suicide run.
Yep.
And
he just said that the marauders are going to swarm the tanker.
Yeah. It's like, we can't have you being on the tanker. Like, we need you to keep the bus and every other vehicle we've got running until we can get to wherever. Yeah. His life should be more protected.
Agreed.
I think, than the others. So now this is Max's big hero moment, or big hero moment number 2. If it's all the same to you, I'll drive that tanker. It's like amazing stuff to me. Pappagallo says, now it's too late for deals. And he's like, no, I don't want a deal. I just want to drive. He's like, why the big change of heart?
Believe me, I haven't got a choice.
What? But what otherwise, what was going to happen? Like, were they just going to leave Max in the compound and leave? Maybe? Or were they going to put him in the bus?
I guess they probably would have put him in the bus.
So it's weird to me that they are acting like they don't want him to drive the tanker.
Yeah.
Just, if assuming they weren't going to leave him, and maybe they were going to leave him.
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, he ditched them. Like, I don't know that they necessarily owe him much.
Correct.
I do like Zeta says, and how are you going to do that? I mean, look at you. You couldn't even drive a wheelchair.
It's insensitive to the mechanic, in my opinion.
Oh, that's true. That's a fucking sick burn on Max. He does look rough as hell.
Basically says, Max, you look like shit.
Yes. Max tells him to cut the crap and points out he's still their best chance.
That's also true.
I don't know what Max's plan is either. Like, I guess to rebuild and go on his own once they get clear of this place.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like,
I don't know either, but basically everyone's on board. Pappagallo, he hands the sawed off back to Max, gives him a handful of shells, and says, all right, let's get moving. And that, I think, is the end of this chapter of the film. It
certainly is.
I'm excited I'm
worked up into a lather with excitement.
The last chapter is going to be nonstop balls to the wall.
I'm ready for it. But first, let's drink.
First, we rest. All right. We will catch you next week.
We'll be back.